I've heard you speak a couple of times, and I've heard you talk about the progress that you want in communities of color. Rather, you talk about food deserts and technology deserts and health deserts and financial deserts. Can you tell our audience why this focus is so important and how the Black business community can play a part in eliminating these deserts that are really all over the place?
Sure. And I know I'm speaking to an audience that knows what I'm about to say to a great extent. Since this country's founding, Black Americans, we've suffered over 250 years of slavery, 90 years of Jim Crow, 60 years of separate but equal. And the fact of the matter is the wealth gap is the thing that's really holding us back. And our community has been starved, deprived of critical resources that we need in order to thrive. One of the most important elements, of course, is capital, and getting capital into our community. 70% of African American communities don't actually have a branch bank located in their community. Well, if you don't have a branch bank, or if you don't have banking capacity in your community, how does a small business person even get a loan? How do they have the person get a mortgage to buy a house? How do you use that asset to send your children to school like so many other Americans have access to? You can start thinking about all the, from the Homestead Act to the Southern Homestead Act, to redlining to, on down the road, the misallocation of the GI Bill for our soldiers who returned who didn't have access to some of the benefits that the United States government said they were going to provide. And so, the way I think about it, like all things is, Maya Angelou says, when someone shows you who they are, the first time you should believe them. And so what that tells me is we need to be, as Black business owners, very thoughtful in helping our community expand its opportunity set. I have the good fortune of what I've been able to do and the relationships that I've been able to create over 20, almost 30 years, is to try to influence the bringing of capital solutions into our community through leveraging relationships to try to build out our community development financial institutions, or minority depository institutions, because I think once we get capital into our community that is accessible, that's accessible by leveraging the relationships in the community by quote unquote the banking organizations, and B, by technology in leveraging that, it will create that flywheel effect of not only recirculating dollars, but increasing the velocity of those dollars and increasing the quantum of those dollars in our community. And then we can start to address a lot of the ills, which are, often start with just basic employment. But, in our community, if you've got small businesses employ more people than large companies. And we just don't have the number of small businesses that we need, but a lot of them don't have the capital to hire 1, 2, 3 people, or hire another intern, or whatever it might be. And so that starts to create, I call it the opportunity desert, which creates, some of the other deserts that then start to proliferate. And when you start to build out, and I'll give you one example, beyond banking, technology and broadband, if you start to implement broadband solutions into our community, which I'm highly focused on doing with some of the biggest telcos, et cetera, you then have the ability to deliver distance learning capacity. So irrespective of whether you're in COVID or not, our children will have the ability to learn at night. We all know that many of our school systems are delivering inadequate education for our kids to be highly successful in an ever advancing world. But if we have, there's curriculum and technologies out there that parents and community leaders can use to deliver a higher quality educational supplement to our young people. But you need broadband often to deliver that. And if you deliver broadband to a neighborhood, you can deliver higher educational services. You can now start to deliver telemedicine and to help our folks who don't have access to those sorts of solutions. And you think about education, telemedicine, and you can now start to think about how do you deliver to our small to medium businesses higher forms of technology capabilities to run their businesses better, which in and of itself creates a whole set of jobs to support those companies and those small to medium businesses. And then ultimately we've got to address what I call the nutrition or food desert issue in a lot of our communities. But again, it requires investment, and I think part of what I've called for is they call it a 2% solution, where large companies need to devote 2% of their net income, or they can frankly issue these new bonds, equality, progress, sustainability bonds, and as low as interest rates are, they should be pretty cheap to issue, and really drive them specifically towards solving the problems in the African American community. And if we do that and really put our effort toward it, it will be a massive change of economic uplift for our community. And it's something that the business leaders can do, irrespective of whether the government participates or not. I'm hopeful that the government will do some things about it, but like all things, I'm looking at 400 years of history, and I'm not quite sure that I've got complete confidence of getting it right without the public, without the private companies, pushing, cajoling, and partnering with them.